Fortnite fam, welcome back to the FNCS Summit. Putting my NA favoritism mask on for just a moment. What's up? NA on top of game number 2, that's right. Okay, took it off there. Unbiased Zeke back.
I come back.
Crazy stuff. Wait for one back on. Ages and yes! Ages and Ritual get up here. Okay, back off. Anyway, sorry about that. Sorry you had to see that. Congratulations to the duo showing up when it matters, right? Finding that momentum, finding what was crazy too, the high ground of all things. And I love hearing from Richie himself, like, hey, it is now. High ground is right now.
Zeke, I don't need a mask. I feel like the slightest increase in how big my smile is after an NA team wins a game should be telling enough. I mean, incredible game from the boys here, and we were kind of watching this one fizzle out, and it's like, you know, we kind of tune into them. They're on the high ground, they're chilling. Agers, man, ends the game. What was it? 8 eliminations. Ritual over there with 0 as well. Obviously, we know Ritual is good at making those IGL calls. That's what he's known for. Yeah. But Agers having a performance like this, man, incredible to see.
Really, really nice to see these guys clutching up, claiming that high ground as well. The way they took height was absolutely perfect. Took it at the right time as well. Something we've sort of spoken about throughout this weekend is the time that you take height is super important. If you take it too early, like we saw with teams like Alex and Reckless, took it a little bit too early, had it taken off of them. But there's a point in these end games where if you have it at the right time, you can ride it out to the end. And especially if you're a team as good as those guys, they are capable of doing it. Triple contested off spawn as well. Like I mentioned in that interview, why Nalu and Rainy was the sort of surprise con from the East. Really, really great job from those guys.
Yeah, that's not what you would want to hear, right? On LAN, oh, we're triple contested. Apparently, Agers Ritual, they do not care. We have a listen in from that last game. Let's check it out.
Good.
I got blasted.
Coming over.
I'm good.
Where?
I'm med bombing.
Yeah, watch this back wall. It's weak.
Okay,
Holding it, but
be awareness for me. I'm grabbing slices.
I'm just holding walls.
Give me some hearts.
Yeah, until he does. I'm 5-0-1.
I'm good mats. I'm good mats.
Yeah,
hold.
holding.
You hold. Hold.
Got it. Dead.
150.
Holding.
Hold.
Can't get it.
Second. What are your
I
whites?
pizza box. You wanna play all height? You wanna go height now?
I'm down. Yeah, throw it.
Throw this.
Right.
Jumping in, Spran. Spran second height.
Yeah, spray. Break.
Zone. Med bomb. Look at it.
Yeah, I'm staring.
He's going up. I'm in. Dead. Come on.
Baby.
Come on.
That's what I like to see. What's really interesting too, of course, they had the high ground, but then in that like kind of pivotal moment, they're like, let's just drop low ground. They're expecting us up there. Let's just take the fight to them, catch them off guard, blindside them, ends in a victory royale.
Yeah, incredible stuff there. Love to kind of tune into the listen-ins, because something that we can't really pick up when we're just watching them heads up is like, what are all the things that these teams are aware of? You kind of heard that he was calling out head mist, end zone. They could, overdrive up with that. So they were fully aware of that. With that game right there, after a rough game, number 1, Agers and Rituals find themselves flying up the leaderboard, 30 spots to join the top 5. We needed an NA team up there, but yeah, they're going to be 4th place after that one, 105 points.
Yeah, really, really great performances, guys. I'm looking at first place right now. The new first place on the leaderboard. Teeny and Sharp. We got to bring it back to EU, all right? That's what I'm here.
That's right.
These guys started the game really interestingly. They actually lurked on Dharma Dimash, our ex-first place team, and took them out of spawn. Really bold play at the beginning of this tournament. They've only just had 1 game prior to that. So it's like, we are playing for the win already. We are trying to take this by force, and that is what they then continue to do for the rest of this end game. Exciting stuff, Vivian.
We're only 2 games in, but it starts to feel scary when Mini Miner kind of makes the point, hey, listen, Shark and Teeny game number 1. You guys got to make the most out of that. They did. It comes over to Wonky Land. They have a great game. This was nowhere near Wonky Land, man, right? They had to rotate across the map, but they still did very, very well. And that's when it starts to get scary for me, when I start to take a look at how good some of these teams just are at playing Fortnite. And not to mention this change in strategy as well, like you mentioned, early in the game. So they look prepared.
I wasn't prepared to see this many teams up in that leaderboard as dominant as EU, we got our one up there, right? But so many high-profile duos as well. Vico and Malabuka themselves. We saw Aegis Ritual climb to 30, but Vico and Malabuka climbing 11 spots. Remember, we kind of talked about their first game, maybe a little bit slower. They said second game, let's kick it into high gear.
Yeah, there's a few really nice things they did in this end game. They were shaping up to take height at one point in that game. They were looking for it later on in this end game, and they were thinking, right, do we go for it? Do we not? And there was a moment where they decided, okay, let's not. Let's play out our materials. Malabuka, Vico picking up a lot of those refreshes, and it was around this sort of moment where they thought, yeah, let's just play out the mid ground, play out the low ground layers as well, and it was right here. Vico decided, yeah, let's just try and play out as much as I possibly can, going back into the storm. And then, of course, when Aegis and Ritual came down, they took out Scroll. So he managed to clutch up that second place. And something that I just noticed about Vico, right? A lot of players, when they're walking off for that break, we actually walk by them when we get to the desk. They're very chill, very, very calm. Vico's a lot of fans, of course, chanting his name. He was fired up. He was feeling good, and I hope he carries that into the next game.
All right. Well, you know what? I'm actually getting word. The next game is ready. So, casters, let's kick it back over to you.
Already 2 games down, 6 more to go. This is looking a little bit more like a marathon instead of a straight foot race.
You would think so, but with the way that Fortinte are playing, they're looking to eliminate anybody that's coming close. Darm Deemish targeted intentionally. They were in that first place position, but an early departure now means Fortinte might look to take over here in game 3.
We're still in the beginning stretch of the entire tournament. And where you are now on the leaderboard isn't too impactful. There's 6 more games left to pick up those points, eliminations, victory royales, and close the gap. We're looking at who is the best in the world as of now and top 15 for the Global Championship.
And we're already seeing one more of these hotly contested off-spawn battles. And it's up to Hero now to try and make sure some of the mistakes of previous games are not repeated. Epic, Well, and Pump did not come to muck about at all. They are ready to win this fight.
Focus and Hero down below. It's a little bit of a mismatch, but they're going to still take the fight to Epic Well. Drops him down to just a little bit of HP. Pump finishes that elimination, and they go back to back. They each get their own, and they hold their ground yet again off spawn.
Thought we were watching a zero builds competition for a moment there. No one had any materials to work with. They were both just so quick to the jump. They knew that they had to try and find those eliminations as fast as possible.
All right, next on our off-spawn tally, Tinker and Resigns versus Chap and Flixie. They don't want that smoke this time around. They want to get the chance to actually play their game. And this might have been the best possible decision they could have made. Big early damage done onto Chap and Flixie, and they have no answers. They landed way further towards the east.
But it would have felt so much better if they'd actually been able to connect and find at least one knock. That gives you the opportunity to actually push and pressure, because now you're dealing with 2 duos that don't have a lot to work with, and Leo and Romero are still around.
Let's see what that OC duo can do in this game. For Ree and Cooper, they started last game with a fight up against the Asian duo of Nalu and Rainy. This time around, Ritual has gone down after winning that previous game. And so things here at Lalte still haven't been figured out as far as what the dynamic of the day is going to be. It is still a messy situation, Taco.
For Reed and Cooper, it's just anything you can do, I can do better. They have a point to prove up against the likes of Rituals and Agers. And I know you guys might have seen things getting a little heated on socials, but here in the lobby is the best chance to come out on top.
Every single time Noah, Riley, and Razan just kind of pop up on the screen, I just hear the arena erupt. I've never seen so much energy outside of last year's Global Championship, really kind of giving it their all to their favorite teams. Is something that you love to see. And for Noah and Razan, they're just doing a good job here, not necessarily putting it all into just one contested fight. They're saying, hey, we might not get the best loot off spawn, but this is something we can gather as the game goes on.
And already in game 3, major off-spawn switch-ups, Rainy and Nalu, the Asian team who had had their struggles landing in the northeast of the map, trying to take fights in Latte that just weren't working, have now decided to land that Riptides, and I'm not sure if Focus and Thomas are quite aware of just exactly where they are.
But at the same time, they didn't exactly have anything great to work with. They have to be so precise with when they pounce if they want to net any kind of eliminations here. Momsy, Skyjump, they've had so much difficulty just trying to find their footing in these first 3 games, and it's looking like things might go from bad to worse here if Momsy isn't careful.
Yeah, this is a tight situation because they're fighting a 2v2, but then you got Shark and Teen, or at least one of the two, over from Wonky Land, disrupting this fight, third party causing a little bit of a distraction, landing some of those shots on a Skyjump and Momsy. And if they didn't get tagged up, that would have been a huge green light to go.
And I understand the aggression from Skyjump and Mumsy. They really struggled with Surge in that last game, but you have to pick your fights wisely. You don't want to put yourself in an even worse situation as the games continue.
And traditionally, Skyjump and Momsy have been the team that just actually gets a third-party profit whenever they're challenging others on the map, but those opportunities just not presenting themselves here today. Other teams kind of fluctuating with their rotational paths, and another one that's been impacted from the start because of that early split. Tinka resigns. Tap, Flixie, they still have to figure out who's going to actually come out from this position.
Yeah, and because they split that drop, you kind of saw it in a moment. One of them is out of medium ammo. That's going to be Flixie. He's no longer going to be able to put pressure from up above. He does have the Chaos Reloader shotgun, so he can fight back, but that go ahead and controls, or at least changes a little bit of what they're able to do here. They can no longer continue to fight safely, so they have to disengage and find a little bit of more resource.
King and Tails surprised the world yesterday with their qualification into this final with a big win. Started off the day ruining the party for the NA Central champions Venno and Curve, and now looking to make waves here again in Game 3. Oh dear, what do we have here? Vidil and Ju. Ju taking Reason out. Friendly fire going on.
It's like in those moments, you can just tell the crowd's not really sure whether to be happy or sad, but ultimately, only one can survive at the end of it all. And for Vidil and Ju, they've managed to come out on top, but will it be short-lived? Because Kanata, Victor V, creeping around the corner, checking to see whether or not they can get into a better position to find the opening tags.
And for a team from NA West, where they typically stayed at Sandy Strip in order to get a lot of their Storm Surge on that region, they were uncontested. So a huge difference maker coming into the weekend, having 2 other teams land there. Games 1, Games 2 didn't go their way, and now they're forced to flip the script, trying to get a lurk play. They probably heard the noise in the distance, and they're trying to go.
Not only that, but Kanata and Victor V, they are so exposed. If any other teams just happen to get a little bit of leverage, a little bit of height, they'd have the chance to see that these two are out in the open right now because they don't want to make any sound. They can't really afford to toss out a build. They want to ensure that Ju and Vidil are completely caught off guard.
Vidil and Ju, though, from the way they're playing, seems like there's some sort of inkling something is being cooked up here. And I hope they persistently stay on top of it, and they will. The jig is up. Kanata and Victor V will look to dip as they realize there is no free opportunities here.
Curve and Venno, Game 1. Didn't necessarily expect to get lurked on the south side of Battlewood Boulevard. Ever since then, I feel like they've been put on notice, Taco.
A lot of their tactics have definitely revolved around their fighting potential. Both of these players are able to deliver some big blows and some big clutches, but at the same time, you can't factor out the competition, and it's scaling up with every single match that goes by because everyone's looking for the perfect adaptation.
Lurk after lurk here. Thomas HD and Focus trying to do the same things. LB Works and Bot, they're the ones up above on the mountain, but the bush just hiding their exact location. So Thomas and Focus, they're gonna have to take what little information they currently have here and try to figure out how they're gonna run away with it in this play. Kind of moving from the bottom up. There's a huge height advantage, natural terrain, so they can see it, but they might have spotted out Bot, just kind of run off to the side. This could be a chance for them to try to take a 2v1.
Yeah, they've got to know that there's a solo in the bush now, but he's also aware of the potential of someone to come. If they can find the right timing, this will be a great 2v1 opportunity. They might also just patiently wait for bot to return. No, they'll jump into the bush. They want that damage. They want that fight. They saw bot leave the hill and decided it was their time to strike.
Yeah, at least bot came back, trying to draw back a little bit of that pressure. They did land some damage, though, so that's the confidence building for Thomas and Focus. Good shots connecting yet again, but the distracting third party bringing everything to a halt in this moment. Thomas, Focus, they immediately box up on top, realizing we're in the zone. You still got to come to us, and now they have a moment here where there's a little bit of an advantage here in terms of positioning.
Their prey just barely managed to escape. Thomas was trying to find that full box in, but it just didn't net itself in his favor. And now, because of the shots ringing through from Battlewood Boulevard, it's just going to be another delay, another slow down. And they've had a rather solid start when they've made it out of Riptides, but it's evident that they are on the hunt for some very aggressive plays.
This was my fear. With new Sanctuary, if Resigns and Chap couldn't figure things out between themselves, would things start to get messy deep into the storm? And that is what we're seeing take place here. They can't close it out. He's able to escape, but he will continue to hunt.
Yeah, and it puts you just in a tough situation. Whether you win these fights or lose these fights, they're so drawn out. You're trading damage. Even if you get the eliminations, Taco, you're not necessarily going to be above that damage threshold. And with the zone pulling far away, it's going to be hard to get it back.
They've just spent so much time fighting and dealing with each other that they've left both of themselves in just worse positions, because even for Resigns, even if he makes it for the reboot opportunity, Chap Flixie, they're also still left in a world of hurt because so many other teams are going to look to try and hold them captive inside the storm, not giving them the proper opportunity to rotate through the edge of zone.
Last time we see Curve and Veno kind of lurked in a different situation, trying to play safe. But as we tune in now, empty item slot, but they're going okay. On the other side, though, may not be necessarily the same. Malibuka dropped down to just a sliver of HP. Vico, though, able to save the day, pick up that knock, get the elimination, and is now given Malibuka valuable time to heal up before they have to make their journey to zone.
Hey, go Vico, go after all, and this is exactly what the young superstar needs to be doing. Malibuka on the ropes, and just like that, Vico able to turn it around.
I mean, if these guys are going to come out fighting and Malibuka is going to come out swinging, it takes the pressure for Vico to deliver. But when he has to, he'll hit shots just like that. Darman Demish, a second chance in this lobby. They started the day on top. Their second place competition took them out in game number 2. And here in game number 3, they'll look to recapture that first place position.
Just pulling it back to where things actually ended up here for Chap and Flixie, and Tyler just caught lacking, had no idea that there's still a team sitting around New Sanctuary.
Yeah, Chase is already down, though. Minus is going to be able to certainly clean up that elimination. Siphon can allow him to survive just a little bit longer inside of the zone before he has to pop any HP. And I like what Javi's doing here. Instead of fighting a 1v1, giving him a chance to possibly win, he just converges back onto a Minish. They get into the same box and realize, hey, there's a huge strength in numbers. We're up on the Storm Surge. We didn't take much damage. Let's just take this moment as a win.
Practically 5-5-5-2 on their next entrance for that rotate. So we'll see what happens next. But Peterbot Boyo, quiet start. A different strategy. It's very foreign to see these two not with a whole slew of eliminations already built up in their counter, but they have clearly devised a plan and a strategy that revolves very heavily around playing inside of the storm.
Zone pulls far, and they're waiting. You can see Pete is in the base waiting for players to rotate past, but unfortunately for Pete, those players aren't going to come in, so there is a good chance we see another game where these guys are down and out of luck when it comes to Surge, desperate to try and jump into somebody's box. Kanada and Victor V, we saw their desperation earlier when they were trying to make plays happen. Now the situation has worsened. They have to make something happen right now.
This is the only decision they can make, but it's going to be one they're going to regret. Kanada goes down. Matt and Cole were able to get that elimination, and these guys have been the unsung heroes. They qualify out of NA. They make some big plays. They make it from the upper bracket, and now they're shining here in Game 3. First elimination, sometimes that's going to be the hardest hardest, but Victor V finds him so down in the depths when it comes to damage. Almost 400 overall. That's almost 2 full eliminations worth of damage, and that's where it gets tough, because even if you're able to take down Cole, you're at a disadvantage, 2v1, and this one's gonna be tough.
Victor V can't even afford to stall. The Surge is just going to start ticking away at his HP, and for Matt and Cole, they've already gotten exactly what they were after. Sure, Vic's able to pick up the splashes, but what else could he do with it?
They need to be careful on Victor V's side and on the other side with PO1 and Poyo lurking in the zone behind them. Veno and Curve, what do they have for Resign and Tinker? A great little lurk play. We've seen Veno do that many times over the years, and he did that as well in the NA finals, and Tinker and Resigns clearly weren't prepared for it.
We've seen how things fared for one half of that stalled out engagement over by New Sanctuary. Flixie Chap trying to see if they can change their fate, though. Opening starts, seems like it begins with Liam.
Yeah, 35 below the damage threshold. Looked like Liam was going for the reboot. He gets denied. But you notice they went from barely below the damage threshold, getting that elimination, to barely above. So for Chap and Flixie, when it comes to Storm Surge, they're not safe just yet. Even Agers now winning that game, going and kind of trying to ride that momentum. It gets cut short, 151, and it's active Surge.
Just ever since the start, when you're not able to fully survive that off-spawn contention, you're going to be left trying to play for the leftovers. And for Agers and Ritual, it's very obvious that this zone pool has not done them any favors either. They've had to go cross-country, but Agers looking to get fraggy with it. Won't get the shots to connect, though. Cringe and Twi instead come out on top.
It was always going to be a difficult game with how things started off for them, even after that impressive win they got, but this duo is not out of it just yet. We will be hearing more from them over the course of this day. But for now, they'll leave it to the rest of the lobby to cook up for us. For Deal and Ju looking to do just that. Ju already starting the game with one elim onto Reason, and they will look to quickly improve on their standings. Just 30 points so far, but plenty more to grab in this one.
Yeah, almost 400 above the damage threshold, so they are looking good. No necessity to peek. Curve and Veno, same thing. 5 elims, 900 plus damage. Gets cut short a little bit as they kind of break through the builds, but you see in Veno and Curve persistence here. They see a pile of loot, but instead of just running in, getting greedy, they're playing very, very calculated.
This might be where they fare best, though. They want to be in the thick of it, because that's where they'll get the best opportunities to shine. Catching players off guard, trying to work their way through those lower layers undetected by the teams that are already boxed up a little bit higher up on height. Speaking of which, Sharktini already trying to get that little bit of leverage, because they need to find a solution to being underneath the Surge threshold.
You know how this one goes. 130, 153. Storm Surge begins to activate. Every 7 seconds, Teeny and Shark will be stricken with 25 damage shield or HP, and it does not turn off until there's 40 or less people in the game. Right now, their strategy looks to be to out-heal it, but now Shark is out of heals. Now he's put on a timer that will not last forever.
But look who's avoided almost everything along the way. Acorn and Bolts. Teeny has fallen, though. No opportunities to bring this one back. His body being carried away there by Ju and Badil. Shark looking to see if he could try to scramble, pick up the pieces, but as a solo with no HP, what more can he really do?
He doesn't look like he has the answers to that question, Taco. With just 1 HP remaining, Shark and Teeny will leave their first place spot up for grabs.
So many of our Titans go down Earth, and you're kind of seeing how Teeny was able to go down. But Dio and Ju just caught him lacking, edit the wall, and get that elimination. Even during all that chaos, we saw Cold and Rapid went down as well. Veno's gonna get knocked. Curve trying to be a hero. One knock's already there, trying to get the second onto Sky, but he gets denied that opportunity. Rightfully so. He goes right back into the box, trying to get the revive onto Veno with his own pushing him in. He can't be the hero he needs, but there's still a knock right in front. Curve trying to save the Siphon for the last moment.
Curve needs it to kick in now or never, but he can't afford to see if he can find another shot. Eventually, though, he might be saved just in the nick of time, but when you've got two titans of the lobby, two major champions going head-to-head, now's the time to see who's really on top.
And Curve might not have been able to save his teammate, but Sky certainly could. Scroll back in the game and back with a chance to make things happen. Curve with just 17 HP needs to tiptoe his way around and he will be caught out. And so it's up to him now to get things done. On the front side of the zone, Shadow and Virgo positioning. Pixie looking to do the same, Malabuka, Vico. We've seen how strong they've been so far today. Will this be their opportunity to take first place?
They're trying to get that whole side of the zone, but they get cut short, cut off, kind of tagged up all at the same time. Vico's going to go down. A lot of pressure has just been put on Malabuka's shoulders. 132 points. They're so close to the top of the leaderboard, they can taste it as he tries to steal another one away, but that one's going to go to Momsy. The flank comes in. He doesn't hear it. Swizzy and Pixie take him down.
Swizzy and Pixie are primed and ready. They are just looking back, spraying down every single one of these teams. All of the players that are just a little bit too late to the punch. And now Pixie, Swizzy, with the damage having been done, they're ready to see whether or not they can make their move towards frontside.
If these guys can rise to the occasion today, it would be exactly the type of story you expect out of Swizzy and Pixie. Peterbot playing the storm now as all this madness ensues. To end the deal, they are looking to take this game for their own. They don't care who's in this lobby. They want the high ground and they will keep it for now. But that is just for now. They have to continue to hold it and apply the pressure below.
They're feeling like they're on cloud 9 right now. The entire arena cheering them on, but they draw their attention to Shadow and Virgo, that second height team. Anybody in that position could use a shockwave and disrupt everything they have going on.
You can tell though from the way they're playing it, they don't have the materials, and so the chop will come through. It's Cammy, it's Hari. We've seen them do that so many times before, and so it'll be up to Badil now to clutch up.
But this is a spot that Badil's been in so many times already, and now here today, Badil trying to see if he could strike through, but his shields are so low, he's fully cracked. The movement is crazy, but he's left tumbling down the hill, trying to see if he can get out of sight. Pablo is falling, kindling right next to him, but Badil, he's not gonna be able to get the shots. He wants to try and make it through, but all of these pre-existing builds just forcing him to make the effort. Still, Badil moving forward. Fires it down, and Badil brings him down.
How does he keep finding a way? He keeps on doing it. Badil, this is ridiculous. What a game from him. Scroll will finally put an end to it, but Cammy and Hari, after chopping height, will look to finally make a play for it for themselves. Shadow and Virgo hold on, but not for long. They get wiped clean, and Scroll down below has a tough Polish duo up, trying to take this game.
In fact, they're the only duo actually up in this game. Scroll, solo, Pixie, solo. Scroll's being the focus right now from up above, trying to expand, but he's running out of material, and he's running out of material fast. Hari, Cammy, they realize he's building out a Wook. That's a sign of weakness, and they want to take over. They can't let this opportunity slip from their fingers from one team to the next. Pixie gains their attention. Scroll goes up!
But Scroll finds nothing. He realizes Cammy's in a metal box, and then there's Pixie all alone on the ground. Scroll with the siphon just in the nick of time. But Scroll, he's still got to keep going forward. Hari never gets a chance to see it coming, but it doesn't matter because Cammy had his back.
They are one of the most dangerous teams coming into this event. Contested, uncontested, that is not a problem from them. When it comes to big moments, when it comes to big events, Cammy is one for certain that shows up when it matters most.
Cammy, Hari, stand up. Düsseldorf, please, give it up for Cammy and Hari! What an intense final moment, but you were in it together. How were the communications that you tried to take Solo Scroll down?
I mean, it was the perfect game. We just chopped height like 3 times, killed like 4 people because of that, and it was an easy game.
That's what everyone is saying so far, but everyone online has been looking at the lobby list and saying this might be the most stacked FNCS LAN ever. Do you agree, Hari?
Yeah, it's so stacked.
So when you look at the lobby list, who do you think is your biggest competition right now?
Darm and Dimash.
Darm and Dimash, and is that because you're sat right next to them and they're also your friends from Poland?
Yeah.
And so if it could be you or them, I'm guessing it's got to be you who wins this now.
Of course.
So, Cammy, you know what it's like to be under pressure. You know what it's like to be on day 2 and in contention for the top. But do you have to change things up so you don't get snaked out there?
I mean, we can't, so like we just need to focus on that. Need to focus on winning off spawns and try to get some more good games.
Well, we're going to take a short break while these guys focus up. Please, Düsseldorf, give it up for Cammy and Harry!
What if there's another way? Another way to connect? Another way to create? Another way to fly? There's always another way. Paradigm, the new refillable fragrance by Prada.
I got here. I'm popping in that bit. Wait, sure. Got 6 builds? No, max up. Wait, if you're mid, wait. 100! 100! Oh my god! Oh my god! Oh my god!
Fortnite fam, welcome back to the summit once again. We get another victory royale out of game 3, and if I could put my EU bias mask on for one, say, yeah, my boy, EU at the top. That's right, Tokata. Oh, Tokata.
I heard you repping NA, what, 1 match ago? Literally last match? You think you can just switch up that quickly, Z?
Yes, I can. Oh, sorry, I left the EU bias mask on there for a second. Listen, I'm going to be biased on whoever wins. I just want everybody to have a great time. Shout outs to Cammy and Shari, rather. What an incredible game. Packed with eliminations, packed with high ground, packed with pushing other duos who are trying to take high from them out of the way.
Classic Cammy high take right here. Looking back, chopping it on out, sneaking in the backside of this zone as well. All of that LAN experience that Cammy has paying dividends for him right now. The scroll high take was almost crazy, but they held him off to Carter. And what they did really well here was they took height at, again, the right time at the right way.
I love seeing this from Cammy and Hari now bumped up that leaderboard. But if I think to specifically how this duo plays, you can go back to the 2022 Invitational where Cammy and Seti ended up winning. Issue is they weren't known for playing very well mechanically, for getting those eliminations, but now Cammy paired up with Hari. I'm seeing much more confidence. I'm seeing them pushing. I'm seeing them play for height, get those eliminations, and you know, it's working incredibly well.
I don't know if you saw what I saw. Sky and Stroll has suddenly broken into the 200-point threshold. Oh, wow. Finding that second place against, obviously, a solo situation against Cammy and Shari, rather. Wow. This team continues to do it. I don't know how they do it, but Scroll, if we're gonna put Scroll in solo clutch situations, I'm down. I'm down.
Look, I'm down to put either of them in solo clutch situations. Scroll, game one, got 52 points as a solo, once again clutching it out. But the best part is, Sky is just as capable at solo clutching. In the EU Major Finals, he had the third most solo clutch points. They can play together as a duo. They can play as solos. They were the most consistent team on EU going into those finals. Sky and Scroll have everything to take home this competition.
What a shot that was, though. Unreal. There was a moment just before that as well where Sky was down and Scroll waited. He almost used Sky's down body as bait. For the player that was coming up to take them out and continue that through. So that combination of not only mechanical ability, not only calmness in those endgame situations, but just the brain, the thoughts, thinking, how can I make the most out of this endgame in our current situation? There's a reason why these guys were favorites going into this weekend, and it's looking very, very good for the Sky and Scroll lovers out there.
What's crazy, too, using the body as bait, that was actually against Vidil, right? Vidil running through as a solo. We could hear the crowd going crazy. Even Vidil coming in and finding these eliminations, against such high-profile duos like Sky and Scroll is crazy.
Yeah, and it's what Vidil's been doing all season long. He's had this sort of like solo clutching prowess, this sort of second wind, if you like, when it comes to solo clutching, because seemingly in every single tournament that he's playing in, he's having these amazing solo clutches. And on a stage like this, in this sort of format, getting those extra few placement points, getting those extra eliminations to Carter is going to be super valuable for him.
100%. They're bumping themselves up the leaderboards. Remember, Vidil back in 2024, he was the best performing duo, German duo alongside Reason, now paired up with Ju. They have been looking incredibly strong on home turf. I'm excited to see if they can continue that momentum forward in the later matches today.
Teeny Shark, second place, but Chino and Pablo Wingo up 4 places. Mini Minor, this second place. I mean, honestly, Sky and Scroll aren't that far away, but they are trying to make a statement, right? They're like, hey, you're doing good. We're going to stay very close by, though.
Yeah, it's where Chino Pablo operate. This is exactly where you want to have them. These endgame situations, hip to hip. If you looked at the drop map going into today, you'd almost write them off. That sort of triple contestation and script. But when they make this endgame situation, when they're in these low to mid ground layers, they are just almost so in sync together. They're playing off each other so well. And this is something that we spoke about to them in an interview. They were sort of saying, yeah, if we make these endgames, Takata, we're going to have a lot of fun. And that is exactly what they're doing.
What I find interesting about Pablo and Chino is if you look at their expectations from 2024, which was duos going into 2025, they were low. They weren't making the major finals. They didn't make global championships. But then they were one of the best trios in 2025. So going into this year, their expectations have been significantly high, and they have not disappointed, performing at the top at the EU Major Finals, and now once again topping the charts on an international stage here at the Major Summit. They are meeting those expectations currently, but we still got more games to play out.
I'd love to go back to the standings really quickly, right? I want to see that second page. So keep in mind, we know right now 98 points is where Acorn and Bolts sit, but just below, look at this. Cammy, Shari up 32 places, a single game difference. And look, just right behind Focus, Thomas HD, Akira Kurama, so many names. Guys, this competition is still very much alive. Obviously, we've had a few games, but it'll just take a single game to change everything.
Oh, absolutely. And when Shari and Cammy actually switched up their drop spot towards more of the northeast side of where they're originally landing, I had a few questions. I was like, is this actually going to be the right move? Is this going to be the play that they want to make, particularly with all that contestation going on around them? And the first 2 games, yeah, it wasn't great, really. They weren't able to show us what we know they can do. particularly Cammy, known as the land goat. This is the area in which he is known to operate very well. And for those guys, moving up in the standings after that one game is absolutely crucial. But in an 8-game format, Takasper, it becomes very difficult because you have to continue then to do that throughout the day.
Yeah, Cammy on EU has been a player that's kind of been known to stay ahead and adapt incredibly quickly when there's a new season, when there's new strats, new metas. Cammy is going to be on top of that. I was also looking, Thomas, HD, and Focus close by. They were actually surprise contested in the last match.
Yep.
Now, they ended up having the upper hand. They came out on top there, but there have been a lot of last-minute switch-ups, so I'm definitely starting to feel that pressure.
Absolutely, man. And I'd love to tip my hat to Shadow and Virgo. I'm sure Vivid, wherever you are, is probably making some noise. Currently our best performing NA team. They kind of showed up for a bit of that last game, and then Cammy and Shari said, get out. But still, I love seeing this duo, right? They had that crazy call yesterday. Hey, yeah, we'll go ahead and win this next game, and then went on to do so. So I'm excited to see what else they can bring, right? Like, just look down to the second to fourth. The points are still pretty dang close. I feel like once we get into that 8th game, man, it's going to be really, really close.
Yeah, I mean, looking at that, Shadow Virgo, you mentioned it right there, Zeke, 4th place for these guys. It's so tight in and around that area, so it's going to be absolutely vital for them to actually continue to develop and have performances like they have been having. We saw it right here. I think it was Virgo that was up on top of High, actually got chopped on down and then took a lot of that fall damage. So this is where their game started to crumble. But it's something that I spoke about yesterday in the lower bracket. If you can just take High, ride it out for a good amount of time, you're still going to get some really nice placement points. And in an 8-game format, it's going to be absolutely vital to keep those games coming in, because if you can stay consistent, it's going to do you well to good.
If anyone's going to take height, it's going to be Virgo and his Shadow. I mean, if we look back at the player lounge, Virgo was winning every single realistic creative match. I mean, mechanically, he has what it takes. But then you look at the predictions, you look at all the co-streamers, you ask online, and they're putting, you know, NA's somewhat last hope per se, Acorn Rituals, you got Cold Rapid. They don't have Shadow and Virgo up there at the top, so I love to see them currently in 4th place, showing what they're truly capable of.
Dude, and I gotta say, Swizzy, I see you, all right, global champion. I see you sneaking your way just outside that top 5. Pixie right there as well. We are really starting to heat up, right? So many duos are starting to come online. I think they're all thinking the same thing. That trophy, we have to fight for this title. And also, Minnie, we can't forget as well, top 15 auto quals to global championships later on, but this is a global champion, right? He's trying to prove, hey, I won that for a reason.
Yeah, and this is a team that have sort of played with their backs against the walls for a lot of this year and a lot of this season. And, you know, it's kind of surprising coming out of that global championship where Swizzy ended up winning and Pixie, of course, came second. So I think this kind of like one-day format actually hinders them a little bit, because this is a team that are really good at looking back at what they did wrong and then going ahead and improving based on what everyone else is doing. They'll have that halftime break to go ahead and do that, so expect big things from them in the second half as well, but a really solid start from them there in 6th.
Yeah, I don't think anything can stop Swizzy. I mean, tragic end to 2024, came right back in 25, becoming a global champion. Got here a day before his tournament, no sleep, but was unable to make it through. And then in the first match at that lower bracket, all it took was 1 game. They took home the win, qualified themselves to today. And, you know, now hopefully Pixie, Swizzy, they're feeling more well-rested. They're more locked in, ready to go. And I mean, seeing them bumping themselves up this leaderboard, I'm excited to see if that continues.
I think it's really funny too, because like if you think about it, game number 1, or day number 1 rather, you got to play 6 games and be the top 25. So he's like, okay, do I play 6 games and then top 25, or do I just drop down in the lower bracket, win game 1, and then go back to sleep? Great story. I don't obviously know if that's true, but in my head canon, that's absolutely what happened. Vidil as well in that last game, ultimately shut down by Sky and Scroll, right? Kind of being used as bait there, but by himself, I mean, dude, he looks so good right now, Mini Minor. Obviously, eventually kind of had to play this out as a solo, but he looks good.
Early height take, the crowd went crazy.
Yeah.
Everyone was hyped. They saw them on height. They saw the stars aligning for Dew and Vidil. And this was the moment where it all came crumbling down. But remember, Vidil here going up against arguably the best team in the world, especially in this domain in the low ground situation. Only on 4 HP, absolutely cooking. And this is what I talked about earlier. Scroll, that thinking ahead, 200 IQ play, waiting for Vidil to go ahead and find that finish. I think he did get the points for it though, so that's a really nice solo clutch from him.
Yeah, I mean, being on home turf, having the crowd cheering your name, roaring for your success, I'm sure it definitely plays a big part, but Vidil is one of those EU legends. He's been around for a very long time. He knows what it takes to compete both online and at international competitions. Paired up with the Jew. I'm excited to see them close out today.
Oh, Vidil do it as well. Where's the finger guns? Go on.
There we go. There we go.
Is he about to dab?
He was about to dab. It's,
Good thinking about
way
it.
back many years ago. But you saw him there for a minute, locked in, right? He's like, hey, the job's not done. I have to keep pushing on forward. But friends, I'm getting the call right now. Casters are ready. The next game is ready. So casters, over to you.
You know, I like the way Zeke just said that. Job's not done. And for Sky and Scroll, they might have about a 70-point lead, but it's exactly that. 5 games left, job's not done.
Yeah, but when it's Sky and Scroll and you start looking at the point differential that's already taking place, all I can think about right now, Levin, is what happened in Major 1 Grand Finals. But first up, let's see what actually takes place here in Game 4.
Game 4, the last game before halftime. And if you guys are no strangers to Fortnite competitive, where you're at on the leaderboard means so much. If you're going after first, you might have to have a big game here. If you're settling for that top 15, you just need to remain consistent. Thomas, focus. They know they got lurked on at the start of that last game, and they're just being a little bit more aware.
No surprises this time around, or for now at least. We have to see what takes place elsewhere. Looks like these guys might get a game uncontested. Epic Whale and Pump.
Ooh.
And it looks like the Middle Eastern duo has decided. Oh, well, they don't get landed on, but they do get shot out of the sky, and there will be more shooting out of the sky here as these two duos run it back.
That's just the nature of the game when it comes to these drop spots. Sometimes you have to glide in, and Flixie's just trying to go for the chest, gets the Thunder Burst, but not the elimination. 2v1, Tinka and resigns the strength in numbers, and that was a little bit of a mismatch. Chap went underneath. He left his teammate alone by himself, and sometimes that's the only second you need.
Sometimes you just have to give up the sacrifice, though. Flixie fully understanding that they just weren't going to be able to pull this one back. It's better to just have Chap try and play things through. He can look for the reboot later on, but for Hero and Bacchus, they've got to be feeling great about the fact that they might actually get to experience a game. They've been dealing with Epic Whale and Pump, and we can go back to see where things really started to take off for them. Surprise spotting Virgo. That's a bad news Bears moment, but Hero not finished with it.
Hero getting both of those eliminations, and honestly, sometimes it takes one switch up of a drop spot to get things rolling in your favor. And already we'll see how they rise up the leaderboards after this one. Triple contested still over towards Sandy's strip. It's Chino and Pablo that find themselves in a close quarters combat situation here. Victor V and Kanata on the west side of Sandy. So right now, it's gonna be Fakun by himself, just having to clutch up or just stay alive until he can get his teammate back.
This is a dispute that has been taking place since Friday. Pablo and Chino have non-stop been looking to bring down Fukun and Minifio. They nearly succeeded in yesterday's competition, but it just wasn't enough. This time, though, they've settled everything once and for all. So game 4, they'll just have to deal with Victor B and Kanata at Sandy.
And that is a balance that I think they are willing to live with, one that I think they can find success with. And so if there's anybody that can give Sky and Scroll a run for their money at the top of the leaderboard, we know it is Pablo and Chino.
We also know what Thomas is made of, especially when it comes to international tournaments. 92 points so far. Not necessarily the start that they have wanted, but still plenty of time to kind of pick up the pace. Kazi trying to disengage underneath, focus on the chase, shot after shot connecting until he finally gets that first knock. The elimination is there, and while on the other side, Focus cleans up one. Thomas now trying to stall out this fight, waiting for his teammate to come back, using their numbers to their advantage, and just firing off on all cylinders. Damo by himself, but not for long, as he gets sent back to the lobby with Kazi.
It's just obvious that that Oshi duo was running on fumes here. Unfortunately for them, Thomas and Focus do take full advantage of them being pushed so early, but Poyo, Peterbot, this is unfamiliar territory now.
NA fans, look away. This is not what you want to be watching. Poyo, who's been the more reliable, it feels like today, as far as staying alive in the duo, goes down at the hands of the Frenchies, and so that leaves Pete to fend for himself and keep this duo fighting in this tournament.
Yeah, and that's something when you kind of look at the stats of Peterbot and Poyo on day one, you know, kind of leading in damage right there with eliminations, but where they placed on the leaderboard is not where you would think a team like Peterbot and Poyo would place. So it's not necessarily the actual fights and mechanics, it's the overall game plan.
So far a tournament to forget for them, but still plenty more to play. Chat has been able to keep himself in the game with a nice little lurk onto King.
That's exactly why Plixie knew he could trust his duo when he left off on a solo adventure here. Yapko and Panzer, though, profiting from what's taking place over by Latte, and they've got Cooper directly in their sights.
Yep, they were able to kind of angle out Reap by himself, and now they land a big shot onto Cooper. 2v1, they're continuously trying to push in. Cooper's time is definitely limited here, the way Yapko and Panzer have been playing. They need the points. They have to try to catch up and move up that leaderboard if they want at least top 15, but Cooper's keeping them on the chase up until now, where Cooper finally falls. And just like Taco said there, that decision to split with Ages of Ritual not working out.
And we have seen Yapko and Panzer are not afraid to fight anybody in this quadrant of the map. If they spot a weakness, they will strike and they will hit hard.
It really feels like they've been playing a lookout to see who's going to be the duo that gets pushed further north from Latte landing off the initial off-spawn contention. And every single time, whether that's been Ritual and Agers or whether that's been Reet and Cooper, you'll see Yapko and Panzer throwing their names into the mix.
As the dust settles, Reason and Noah, we've seen kind of two sides of this coin. Moments where they like to get aggressive, try to find eliminations, and then moments where they play passive, just like this, lurking. We know these teleporters, a lot of teams like to traverse through, avoid all the chaos that goes above and on the island, but sometimes it ends up being one of those plays where you run into nobody throughout the course of hiding down there.
It looked more like they were set up banking on someone actually taking that ascender directly down to them, obviously hoping that they could get the advantage off the right side peaks, but Cringe and Twy, they'll be the closest to it. Whether or not they actually take the bait, though, that's a story left to be settled.
For Shark and Teeny, a game where they will have to prove to everybody watching that they are really here to play. We've seen them win, but after last game's surge disappointments, the question does become, when this team faces a challenge on this stage, can they rise to overcome it?
But what really makes things so exciting is that we've seen EU challenge Sky and Scroll before. You can never count yourself as safe, even when the match looks promising, because so many teams like Swizzy and Pixie all just kind of nestling in to these tucked away positions, utilizing every bit of terrain to their advantage.
And I think in the case of Swizzy and Pixie, they've almost been counted out by many, many people watching, and understandably when you look at how the year has gone, but that is too much talent to count out. Speaking of talent, Big Cold on the screen, picking Iyomzo up, and Four Fields is not the spot you want to be fighting these two. This is their comfort zone.
It's also the opposite side of the map from where we would have anticipated Iyomzo and Josh to even be at. So clearly a little bit of a mix-up already taking place.
Yeah, and just unfortunate enough, you kind of saw the no knock. It was straight elimination. Josh probably out of the game already as we tune into Peterbot. Nalu and Rainy, just like Josh and Iyomzo for that matter, just kind of landing where they want each and every game, trying to go ahead and lurk and catch a team off guard while they're going for their loop path. But Peterbot's been a solo for so long in this situation. There's been too many teams inside Squibbly and outside as well. So there's really been no chance for him to get that reboot.
But part of the problem for Peterbot is that taking that aggressive fight, that early motion up against Skyjump and Mumsy, and it not netting anything for them, it just left Squibbly up for grabs. And the moment that teams see real estate, they're going to start moving in. That's exactly what Rainy and Nalu have done. So Peterbot, he'll have his work cut out for him in terms of getting the reboot for Poyo in the first place and making it out of Squibbly Shores.
Okay, Aegis of Ritual making their rotation on over. Typically, you kind of see them use the long launch pad towards the backside of Latte Landing, but Yapko and Panzer actually ended up using it. I'm not sure Ages of Ritual know they're there, and I'm not sure Yapko and Panzer are even going to try to dive down on them. Both of these teams need to get into the zone before they're eaten alive and damage being taken.
Far too far and away. It's the render distance that's just working to their advantage. They are gliding overhead. Agers and Ritual, there's not really a whole lot they can do about it either. They know they just got to keep moving forward into the next zone.
Uh-oh. Don't see Epic Well anywhere in sight. And this is a situation that might make you a little nervous if you're Epic Well and Pump. You've been performing decently well throughout the course of the day. Almost in contention of one of those global championship spots. Then you run into Vico and Malabuka, and in the distance, there's a shark in the water. Him and Teeny lurking like we know they can. They go ahead and let at least one of those teams escape. So I'm wondering, do they know Pump is here, or are they just trying to eye that duo of Vico, Malabuka? They're returning back. They want to fight. They know this is a chance that it could be Shark and Teeny.
This is a 2v2 we all want to see, and it's one that will be interfered with. Pump takes Malabuka down, and that just helps Sharkantini, and it gives him a bit more breathing room to stay in this game as well.
Not only that, but Pump absolutely stacked right now. The problem is he is just a solo, and for Sharkantini, there's always a bigger fish, and they're willing to make sure that they take out Pump entirely. The ultimate refresh, it's not even one that is a necessity, but they'll steal it anyway. All of that loot that once belonged to Malabuka now straight in Sharkantini's inventory.
2 is better than 1, especially when it's Sharkantini.
Yeah, but these fights right now just continuing all around the map. Cold and Rapid looking to get aggressive. Probably just going ahead and being okay with just getting damaged. Shield gone from Boko, shield gone from Cringe. Some shots did connect, but instead of getting greedy for Cold and Rapid, the game plan for them is simple. They don't need big game eliminations. They're just trying to get Surge, climb up that leaderboard, and then move into the zone. They don't want to get caught in all the chaos. They don't want to get caught below the damage threshold and control over their game. Take it away.
They might not have a choice though. Based off where we last saw Chino and Pablo, they might be able to get some decent tags into Cold and Rapid along the way. But Darm and Deemish, what had been a very promising start of the day, cut a little bit short because of losing some of that momentum off of early eliminations in Game 2. Sharkantini trying to do what they can to shut down some of their EU comrades, but Deemish and Darm never count these guys out. They'll take their time farming it up before they get involved.
We're already seeing a couple mythics in play as well. Thomas, the Iron Pump, you saw the Chaos Reloader there. There's Ju and Vidil from their drop spot. Kind of see them instantly edging towards the zone. 418 above. Even without elimination here, you can see they're being consistent when it comes to that damage. And everybody on the outskirts of the map slowly but surely making their way in. And they have to be quick, because right now it is going to be a 1 tick, is going to move into a 2 after this, and then a 5. So positioning has to be perfect.
But there's so much else taking place. Peterbot with the comeback. This is exactly what he needed. A single opportunity. Everybody's better than Peterbot until it's time to be better than Peterbot. And QNDX, it looks like he might just find out.
And this could be the moment right here, not just for the eliminations in the case of Peterbot, but if he can get Poyo back, they at least have some loot. But again, I said the 5th zone, it moves to a 2-tick. Peterbot can no longer stay over towards Humble Hills. He has to move down towards Riptides, closer and closer towards the zone. But this could be his golden opportunity, just like that one there. QNDX gets caught off guard. Peterbot pounces and gets the elimination, but it wasn't easy. It does turn into a 2v1, and Phantom takes the sacrifice.
This is the Peterbot we want to see, sniffing out opportunities to take advantage of players and striking hard. Can he get Poyo back in the game? If not, can he give us an all-timer Peterbot clutch?
Humble Hills right now getting more and more traffic running through. Ari down below. Don't see Cammy anywhere. Nalu and Rainy, they have no choice but to play aggressive here. 147 below the damage threshold, but that first shot is going to slow him down. Team is coming in. It's going to make it that much harder, but Nalu hits a haymaker on one side, but another one breaks into the box. Now they're scrambling. Back to the lobby they go. Darman Demas, a strength in numbers is real.
You hit hard, we hit harder. Darman Demas cannot be toppled right now.
the best part of it all. I don't even know if they realized that Hari was still there, but Chap, Flixie, this is what they needed. They find Poyo off of the reboot, and Peterbot might just go with it. Fortunately, Flixie's down yet again, but Chap has closed it just enough to revive his duo.
Now they get an opportunity here. They are getting chunked out by the zone, but look at the extra heals they were able to get. A mending machine not too far by. That was a huge success for Chap and Flixie in this game, and this is literally what we saw yesterday. Slow start to the day, but slowly but surely ramping up.
Doesn't matter though, everything that just took place for Darm and Demish has steadily fizzled away in moments. It seems so promising. You get the refresh, you get the abilities, but they're just so below on Surge. Just took too much damage in the exchange overall from Rainy and Nalu, and it's apparently left its mark.
This is going to be a tough rotation to make. Max pool, it's not going to be any easier for some of the teams in the zone. But for Darm now, as he makes his journey in, still plenty to do. Curve won't be able to stomach it. Darm might for now, and he does have a pathway to rotate in. What happened to Veno though? I mean, it's rare to see Curve all alone in situations like that. Oh, that's what happened. That happened.
You know,
to
you
Veno.
probably wish we'd look away right there.
I really do.
Tough.
Shockwave into the front of the zone, truly cost him everything, but sometimes you have no other option. But it doesn't matter how much damage, how many eliminations Darm has been able to get so far. He's still 246 below the damage threshold.
Who was really going to be Polish's last standing figure, and it's Darm in the end of it.
Hari said to Frankie, hey, it's going to be us that come out on top. Darm making him eat his words. Darm and Demish, their game continues, and it's all in the hands of Darm.
You hear the crowd getting wild already in the feed. Vadil taking down Cold, Pablo, Chino just trying to move their way forward. Dropping a cup for the extra loot that they do have that they don't need to take with them. You can see their material kind of running low here. With 2 eliminations, 440 above the damage threshold. The main thing that is going to take their focus is just rotating from point A to point B, and it's just got so drastic. That is a max pull.
But at the same time, it's one that Chino and Pablo, they're avoiding all of the attention with a nice wrap around the dead side. They know that there's a couple teams trailing just ahead of them, but at the same time, Badil, Ju, looking to get active inside the congestion.
The crowd is lighting up with Badil and Ju on their screens. They want to see more Badil magic. And with them being so comfortably above Surge, this is looking and shaping up to be another magical performance.
I just can't believe that I'm watching Darm cut across the screen right now. How is he still alive? As a solo, he is doing everything in his power to fight back in this lobby and try to remain in contention for some serious placement points. Shark is weak, just ahead, but he doesn't have the opportunity to open up.
And this is a chance right here. Scroll once again by himself, 131 below the damage threshold. With the gap that they've been able to get in this tournament so far, the entirety of the lobby is looking at them, hoping they go down. But Scroll obviously making plays already from 140 plus down to 87. He doesn't look like he's getting nervous. Ju either. They're immediately getting focused, forced to back up. 171. He just needs to survive this, and that's going to be step one. But it's more than one team. It's more than one player. They're all focusing in his direction.
The entire lobby is staring him down, and he won't be able to withstand it. But Darm still going. 6 more points have just been collected, and Darm, even with the Surge ticking away at his lifeline here, he's still waiting to see if he can strike first and come out on top. If he finds a singular refresh, that would be everything, because only 3 more players need to go down for the Surge to disappear.
Yep, he has multiple medkits. Plenty of time because he didn't get that max pull, but 305, that's a daunting number to look at. So that's why he's just hoping, crossing his fingers, 3 people to go down. Maybe Vico, Malabuka could get one. Kurama moving across. Lucy's gonna get dropped. Romero's gonna get knocked as well. Plenty of eliminations need to be cleaned up here, but a flank comes in. Teeny surprise. Shark and him try to converge back into that same box, but they still have to rotate forward.
But look at how much space they have. They've claimed so much of the lower layers, and they're looking to continue building it out. But next, they want to take over the front side.
Down to bare bones. With just 25 HP, he has to make some sort of play happen. If anybody can do it right now, it's got to be him. Shark now has lost Teeny, and we know he has his eyes set on any one of these weakness. Dom goes down, and Shark now takes over as the solo we will watch, trying to make something happen.
He has to show why he's kind of looked at as one of the best individual player in EU as of now, but if you look up, you see it in the clouds. It's Vico, it's Malabuka. We know what they could do on high ground, and it doesn't look like any team as of now is looking up.
It's very often that you'll see them starting to really heat up as the lobbies continue to drag on, but for Scroll, as a solo, just trying to hide from underneath. But Focus is spotted out immediately. Thomas and Focus were trying to surprise contest on the high ground, but they'll be sniffed out immediately. Still, Focus and Thomas managed to make their way up, but they don't have the materials to hold this.
Vico, all alone. We've seen him here before. He'll take one with him. He's leaving with something. But the lobby will continue. Thomas and Focus looking to announce themselves now to the world as they sit up on high.
I love this play out of them. They want to catch up, but they don't want to wait until it's already over. Swizzy Pixie, same thing could be said for them. 108 points and counting. 2 eliminations. They have Tails, they have Slurp, they have everything that they need, but Scroll is still outlasting everyone into the top 14. If he can go a little bit further, he'll get half of the placement points.
He is a major problem for the rest of the lobby. And how can he be stopped? Shark doing his best impression now to try and catch up. Every single one of these solos making desperation plays. Focus will fall off of height, and that leaves Thomas now alone to deal with the damage. With just 1 build remaining, he has a mountain to climb here, Taco.
And the new generation, they're trying to take over. Scroll still going underneath, a little bit out of sight, out of mind, but it's only a brief moment. Akira, Karama, they're the ones that take over front side low. Scroll, he has to connect. He needs to bring down this next player, but it's Resign's picked off by Pixie instead. And Scroll knows his moments are limited. He's trying to see if he can capitalize. Instead, Akira and Karama finding the limbs.
We're into the top 9, half of the placement points, top 8, another one's gonna go down. Bolts gets that elimination. Karama and Akira, they're trying to dominate that layer, but Scroll is still scrambling around. He is the X Factor, big shot on a Tyler, but unfortunately he goes down.
It's the fact of the matter though, the damage has been done. If it's not me, it won't be you either. So Akira, Karama, will you find your moment, or will Bolts and Acorn take it all away?
Acorn up above, looking down, applying the pressure, giving Bolts the space to get involved if need be. They need to hold on as the rest of the lobby scurries around below. They will take Tarkos down. Minori left, fending for scraps, holding on for dear life. It looks like Acorn and Bolts want the dub here.
He is striking them down one by one. Acorn and Bolts are in the driver's seat. Minori down below, just a sliver of HP, and it's not gonna last long. Acorn and Bolts and A's home are on top.
And all it took was just that singular moment of these two holding down height. Everyone else just in absolute shambles underneath. 2 separate lines of fire, nowhere left to run. So of course the victory royale is all theirs.
Guys, you just got a victory royale in game 4, but it feels like you're just chilling. It feels like you just played a practice game, Bolt, from that reaction.
Nah, it wasn't like a practice game, but you know, we took height in the end and we were beaming a lot of people with our AR, so it felt like a really smooth game.
Acorn, as IGL, what's going through your mind when you're looking up? You're seeing the chaos unfold. What are you saying to Bolts in that moment? How do you get the timing right?
It was actually him that made the height call. I was just waiting for him to look at it. You know, we were trying to chop it, and then he made the decision, trusted him, and we won the game.
Is that a situation that happens a lot? Bolts, you say, you know what, I've got the instinct here, let me fly.
I would say it's 50-50. Sometimes it's me, sometimes it's Acorn, but in the end, we got the win.
Now, the two of you now on form. on fire, but this is a stacked lobby. Do you think consistency is something you can achieve?
Of course, always got to be consistent. You know, it's a mental game. We're doing bad. We won the game. Now we're back in it to win it.
The mentality is clearly strong and getting stronger with these two. We're going to take a short break. When we come back, we'll be talking about all the action so far. Congratulations, Incredible!
I got healed quite a lot. I'm popping med bit. Wait, short. Got 6 builds? No, max up.
Wait, if you're mid, wait.
100! 100! Oh my god! Oh my god! Oh my god!
Fortnite fam, welcome back to the FNCS Summit. I'm gonna put my NA bias mask back on. NA back on top, baby. That's right. You thought I left NA? Of course not. Me and Vivi were in the back. We were high-fiving. We were jumping for joy. I never left. I would never leave you, NA. Sorry about that. I don't know how that got back on my face there. Unbiased Zeke back. Crazy stuff out of Acorn and Bolt.
I'm not gonna let you get past that. I've never seen someone switch up so fast so many times. You what? EU, NA, EU, NA. I mean, to be fair, it is going back and forth in terms of who's winning these matches, but let's take a look at some of these highlights of Acorn and Bolt's. Mini Miner, I know you're a fan of this team.
Yeah, absolutely. This is a great team, and a team that we've actually finally seen come alive here in these end games. Finally getting that big win that we know that they can do, and absolutely huge for this team. They were coined as NA's last hope coming into this weekend, and we've seen already that there are other NA teams that are capable. The way they took height here, classic Acorn and Bolt's gameplay, really nicely done right there as well. And we spoke about it earlier on about these zones. They were very, very good when they got favorable zones in upper bracket. This one, not a favorable zone. This is a very south zone. So they're still performing now. They figured it all out and playing up from height to Carter. It's a great game.
Yeah, this is big news. I mean, in terms of expectations, this is one of the duos that has the highest expectations on NA to come out on top. I'm almost surprised that it's taken so long to see them get a match like this, but I'm sure after this, they are going to bump themselves incredibly high up that leaderboard, and it's also, you know, a bit of that confidence boost that they might have needed.
I don't know if Acorn could have more confidence. He came out with confidence at the top of the show, right? We had that moment to interview with him. He just said, hey, I'm ready, be ready. It's great to see, obviously, and 8 eliminations as well. Massive out of the duo. Now, let's take a look at the standings. Sky and Scroll, they continue the dominance. This is why so many fans, players, us, were like, yeah, I think these guys are probably a big contender to go ahead and walk away with the win. Obviously, Teeny and Shark right behind, but more on that in a moment because Sky and Scroll, again, we put Scroll in a solo clutch situation, and he delivers.
He always delivers in these solo clutch situations. It seems like today has been the day of these big solo clutches, and he needed to make it happen, of course. There was a lot of teams that were up there on the standings that, of course, were down to a solo player. We saw it with Shark also clutching up as a solo. So, I mean, when it comes to Acorn and Bolts, the fact they won that game, really good for them. But for Scroll, if he can keep on making these solo clutches happen, if this can still keep happening for them, they're looking really, really strong. Where's the chink in their armor? I don't see it at all.
I mean, it's working. I know Sky is just as capable to make these solo clutches happen, but for now, Scroll has been looking unstoppable. When I think back at EU in general, you know, the knowledge of the top previously has been a bit gatekept, but Sky and Scroll, coming from not being these, you know, tied-in players earlier on in EU competitive to now not only building the chemistry, building the knowledge, building the consistency, they have skyrocketed themselves as one of the most consistent duos, not just on EU, but in the world. So I like to see the solo clutches, but I want to see a duo win from them. I want to see both of them, you know, pop off in one of these end games.
I like that, skyrocketed.
Yeah, pun intended.
Pun intended, right? But even in that game, like, I was looking back at sort of their early game situation. They kind of went back to that strategy that we know they like to do. Sky up in that surge tower, up in that base, looking for a lot of those tags around their POI because, of course, that zone did start to pull down to the south. And instead of Scroll just looking for all of that loot and re-farming, he was also looking for tags inside of Battlewood Boulevard. So little tiny adjustments to the strategy that's worked so well for them. And in this end game, of course, they made it there, and we know what happens when they do.
Yeah, something that we even heard Venno say, not only was it looking like he was going to steal our job with that analyst that he did on the Telestrator, but he was bringing up that Sky and Scroll throughout, you know, the divisional cups, throughout the heats, through even the major finals, they kind of had the same strategy in terms of off spawn, getting surge, and even who they're tagging in early to mid game. Now, the question was, are they going to kind of get contested? Are people going to try and counter that strategy? It didn't happen in the EU major finals, is what Venno was saying, and it almost happened game one actually today when one of them got picked. I forget who it was, but they quickly came back from that. Haven't had too many issues at all, and they've been overcoming these hurdles as the day has been going on. So it hasn't been super easy for them, but they've still done an amazing job of keeping themselves at the top of that leaderboard.
It looks good, right? It looks good. It looks crazy. Obviously, this being the halfway point, again, I'm just going to keep saying it, job's not done, right? We still have things that we need to do. Wanted to highlight here, of course, Akira Karama had a bit of a moment from them in this last game. So 8th place, up 5 places, right? So again, it's just going to take one game to try and rise up the standings, you know, as we start to kind of hit that halfway point though, boys. I'm sure these players are all kind of starting to think the same thing. If I'm up in that top 10, okay, we just got to stay the course. Maybe we could play for first, but we're playing for those 15 fall spots. If we're outside of that many, we're thinking, dude, we have 4 games, which thankfully is 1 extra game.
Yes.
But still, we need to make something happen.
Yeah, and this is something that's really unique to this sort of like LAN format. We're not used to seeing this. It's usually like win, and that's like the main thing that you're playing for. But here, you're playing for that top 15. And for Akira and Karama, it's really nice to see them actually performing at this level on this stage, because they're a team that have so much potential. They've been showing it in moments, little individual games, little instances where, yes, individual tournaments, they've been incredible. But just overall, we haven't seen that massive dominating performance from them. So for them, that can kind of play into their favor favor this weekend, and today I should say, because they can just play their end games as they have been. They don't need to set the world on fire. They don't need to try and necessarily win the entire thing, which of course they will. Try to do. And you're not going to not want to win it, but it gets to a point where you think, right, let's just try and solidify that top 15, and they're a really, really good team at doing that, consistently making those end games.
Yeah, I'm liking how it's looking for them. I mean, this is the in-person event that we've had with the most controller players, and there's only 3 duos that are both controller players playing together. One of them is Akira and Kararma, and hey, putting themselves in top 10 so far. I know the French fans, M8 fans, are incredibly happy to see their performance, especially in that last game, getting closer and closer to the top end of that leaderboard.
Absolutely, bro. Now, of course, it being the halfway point, we've let the players kind of take a deep breath, head back on over. They have a little bit of a break here. They'll be looking to readjust, look at things, whatever they need to do, right? Because with 4 games left to go, we'll have to keep this fight going. Now, Thomas HD as well, for that moment, saw him on height, and dude, my eyes lit up. I was like, yes, Thomas. You know, not sure what led up to Focus being eliminated. Thomas having then to kind of solo clutch a little bit, but look at this, man. Just seeing him on high ground, it took me all the way back.
Yeah, I think they got chopped out there, was it Focus, and they went down to full damage in the end. But Thomas HD clutching up a few extra points right here. I feel like we haven't really seen them too much, although they're on decent points. It hasn't been like an amazing performance from them. Very similar to what we saw when it came down to Major 1 in EU. They were sort of in and around those end games, performing well, but they never had that massive game performance that we expect and that we can come to expect from Thomas and Focus, because, I mean, the names, both of them, have been performing so well.
When's it going to happen, Thomas? When's it going to I know you have what it takes. I mean, 2024 Global Championship, Thomas HD got 2nd place, adding, you know, to the 4 second places he has in FNCS Major Finals, the 4 third places he has, 11 top 5s. I mean, Thomas has been around. He's one of 2 players playing today that qualified both to the 2019 World Cup and also this Summit Major LAN. Duoed up with Focus, who is kind of that new up-and-coming EU talent. Actually, you know, Tarping even gets the shotgun at their POI. I'm liking what I'm seeing from this duo. They started off a little rough earlier on this season, but they've been looking incredibly strong recently. So one big game is all I'm hoping for from this duo.
That's right, dude. That's what we can't forget, right? Is like it's just going to take one really great game to kind of turn all of this around. Wanted to take a moment here to highlight, this has been a fantastic weekend of Fortnite. Camera, can you get this over here? Look at this. This whole little section here has been our co-streamer booth. So if you've been following along with them, they've had a fantastic time. So many showing. What? Ozzy, is that you? Ozzy, Ozzy, come up here. Ozzy, come up here. Ozzy, yo, Bucky, you want to come? You want to come up here? You want to come here, Bucky? Yeah, just him, just you. Come, Ozzy, come here. We got to get him up here. You know, you've heard from us. You've been able to hear our thoughts. Why don't we get Ozzy Antics up here? Fan favorite. He's so cool, so handsome, so tall. Come on. Don't be shy, Ozzy. Don't be shy. Everyone's here to see just you. No one's here to see anybody else, just you. For those of you who don't know, this is Ozzy Antics. I don't know why you wouldn't know, but maybe you don't know, and that's okay. This is Ozzy Antics. Ozzy, what have you made of the first half of the competition so far?
It's been good. I mean, I was talking to my chat about this. I think this is the most stacked lobby in the history of Fortnite, and I think we're seeing that. Like, anyone can take it. I was trying to do predictions last night. There's about 10 teams, I think, that could win this, and no one should be surprised. We've never seen that before.
Yeah, I mean, we saw you doing some predictions on stream earlier on. I want to know how are those sort of shaping up now, halfway through the tournament.
Well, they're looking okay. I had Sky and Scroll up there. Yeah. That was good. I had Shark and Teeny up there. I had them both getting top 3, so I'm feeling good.
Nice.
My Pete Poyo prediction, basically, everyone had faith in for NA. I had Cold and Rapid winning it.
Yeah.
I had Pete and Poyo getting top 5. So I basically shouldn't have had any faith in NA, apparently.
What would you think is the biggest surprise that you've seen today in the finals?
Biggest surprise I've seen so far in the finals today. I mean, Curve and Veno getting contested. Ooh. I did not see that coming. That was crazy. And I mean, they're handling it pretty well. Outside of that, I think Shadow and Virgo were looking incredible. Again, they're kind of always a dark horse when everyone talks about them, until they also got contested.
Yeah, that's tough, right? Going back to Curve and Veno, right? How do you think, how would you even imagine you have a plan, you come in and then 15 minutes before you're like, hey, guess what?
I honestly thought it was like the usual bait and switch we see. Like, you guys know, you've competed in the past. You hit the little, I need 2 for off spawn. I'm surprised contest. And if people don't do it, I thought Veno was doing that. I was so sure. And I was like, he's just saying that because he's on the microphone. He's in the player room. No one will contest him. and that's always contested. I mean, it's hard, and you got to feel for Curve as well.
Yeah.
This is his first ever LAN. He just won FNCS, doing incredible, but I think they can bring it back. We know Veno's a day 2 player. Doesn't have a day 2, but he did just have the break. He got the second half. He can prepare now. That's my hope.
I mean, it's been really impressive, right? A lot of these sort of newer comer players too. Lance, Curve, of course, Shark. We saw having a great performance so far today. Solo clutching as well. You would have watched a lot of these up-and-coming Fortnite players, up-and-coming talents. How proud are you of these sort of players that are just new to the stage here?
I mean, Sky and Scroll has been like the duo that I've been like. They're like my duo. I've been gassing them up for so long now. I actually predicted them slightly lower because I was worried about Veno. Outside of that, we all watched the EU Grants. Like, they looked incredible. But honestly, I'm super proud. And even Shark as well. I think the thing I'm most proud of Shark is I've seen him in the player room, got to hang out with him. Lovely kid. He's so humble as well. Like, he's had so much expectation coming into this, and he hasn't got an ego about it. He's just stayed humble, respectful. Even when I was trying to be like, you know, you versus Clicks, like, how you feeling about that? Hitting Qual, didn't want to smack talk. He was just like, I've got a job to do.
Yeah. That's good. I like that. I like that.
Yeah, it's nice.
Last question for you, obviously, before we start to let you go. What has your chat been saying? I've been saying, what are you hearing? What you hearing?
I mean, they're having a good time. They're enjoying it a lot. I had a little like teaser announcement. I don't know if I'm allowed to like tease the announcement I teased on stream. They're still trying to guess what that is. We got a little like something coming up. They've been loving it. Honestly, they love the show. My chat, I think, also very just locked in on competitive. This is, again, the best lobby we've seen in such a long time. It's sad we don't have faces like Clicks and Savage here, but you get to see the best go at it in a one-day format. They're as hyped as I am. Let's be real.
Bro, well, thank you so much. Before we let you go, obviously, you've got your stream going on right now. You've got Bucky. You had Savage. You're up there as well. Fortnite fan, if you want another perspective, this is where to go. Anything you'd love to say to the fans out there? Anything you want to say?
I mean, fans, thank you so much for giving me the dream job. As always, it's incredible. I get to call this a career. I traveled all the way from Australia for this. I wouldn't do anything else. But also, I want to give a shout out to the other co-streamers. They've all been phenomenal this week. We've had so many people together. Boob's been killing it. Fax has been killing it. Leo and Ma, like the collaborative effort from all the content creators to bring the most out of this land has been amazing. So please check them out as well. It's been incredible.
Ozzy, thank you so much, bro. We are so excited that you were.
Thank you.
Know this guy in forever.
Thank you, gentlemen. I appreciate it.
For sure. Take that. Yeah, go ahead and drop it right there. Don't worry about it. We'll take care of it.
He's got a string to go. He's got to go back.
Ozzy Antics, everybody. Thank you again to Ozzy. Frankie is apparently standing by. Let's go check in with her and see how things are going.
Thank you so much. I had to ask Sky and Scroll what it's been like for them so far. They're currently #1 on the leaderboard. But Sky, game 1 started with you having to reboot Scroll. Talk me through what happened.
I mean, Scroll got camped on in a bush. It was a bad mistake. We should have been prepared, and yeah, it won't happen again. Went on to reboot, and then I died to storm sickness, but Scroll clutched up the game.
And this is the thing, you guys have pivoted so well, because after that first game, we haven't seen that happen again. But what we have seen, Scroll, is you continuing to clutch, notably a 2nd place finish. You were on your own for multiple zones. How are you able to focus and have such awareness of everything around you when you're on your own?
I mean, every time I'm in the in-game, I'm just full locked in, and I just enjoy playing on stage.
You enjoy just having to go full throttle and save yourself for your teammates, Sky. When you are on your own, though, are the two of you still communicating? How does that work?
Can you say again?
When you're on your own, is Sky giving you any input?
Yeah, he's giving me all the input I need.
Yeah. And so for you now, we've got this halftime reset. How do you reset?
We have some resets that always Poppy introduced us to, and we're gonna look through the games and kind of try and expect what the other people around us are going to do for the last 4, and yeah, just prepare.
And I did notice you on stage between games. You had your eyes closed, you were having that zen moment, and I think I should let you have another one of those now, so let's head back to the desk.
Thank you so much, Frankie. Love to see Sky and Scroll there. You know, it's tough. The competition is tough. It's not like Sky was just like, hey, Scroll, take over. Go ahead and go wild. It's like, hey, man, something's happening. Other duels are making moves, and Scroll is put in this situation. But when you can have a teammate like Scroll, who it's like, hey, everything's fine. I believe in you. Just go. And he does, is sick.
Yeah, this is a duo that have played together for so long. You have to have that trust in your teammate, and that's something that they built up so often. When their teammate is solo clutching like that, it makes it so much easier when you just know you can trust him. If there's a teammate up here that, you know, I mean, okay, let's just enjoy this. 136 points as a solo to cast.
So we could actually add Pixie, add BOT, and that would still be less points than how much Scroll has solo clutched today. I mean, we knew both Sky and Scroll were capable of this, but doing it on an international stage. Ozzy said it himself, the most stacked lobby we've probably ever seen in Fortnite competitive. I mean, words can't even describe how impressive that is.
Yeah, and I really liked it in that interview right there. Actually, Sky's first answer to Frankie's question. In the, of course, their first game, he went down, he had that bush, they got lurked on, they got keyed. His approach to it, his reaction can very easily be like, oh, we got really unlucky, that wasn't our game. Like, you know, they can get really angry about it. But the way that he conducts himself, the way that this duo have been so good at, is just actually learning from those mistakes. And I think that's a key element to the fact that they have stuck together for so long, because so often in Fortnite, you think, oh, something didn't go well, switch out the duo, we'll try again next time, and just kind of brush over the mistake and not learn from it. Whereas this duo, the fact that Sky right there, you saw a little insight into his mindset, it's like, yeah, okay, they took us out there, we didn't do enough homework, we didn't make it count, it's not going to happen again. And that's the way that their mindset carries them through, and that's why they've been able to stay together so long and find all of their success.
Beautifully done. Let's take a look at those standings. I gotta look at them, man. This is like, we have to continue to dissect as much as we can, especially when we have just a moment to breathe. Acorn and Bolts obviously jumping up the 7 places. We did talk about them before, getting themselves the Victory Royale. But look just below, boys. Pixie and Swizzy up 2 more places. He's creeping in there, right? Yeah, it's not 268 points, but we're staying pretty dang close. If Sky and Scroll were to make a mistake of any kind, you could see someone like a Swizzy and Pixie jumping up.
Yeah, it's amazing to see. I think the best way to describe this duo is sort of a sleeping giant in the phrase of EU, because these guys haven't been putting up necessarily the amazing performances that we know that they can do. But when they get on that stage, when they get in this environment, when they're getting into this latter half of competition, they can go away and VOD review. This is when they come alive and they feel alive to Carter. They're looking at too in the lobby.
Yeah, 100%. I mean, there's a lot of talk on, you know, Swizzy being the only global champion out of the 3 to be here at the Summit land, or, you know, gotta hype up Pixie as well. He was also at that global championship. He also performed at a top level. And with 4 more matches to go, I'm excited to see if they can continue climbing.
That's right, man. I'm excited to see this interview. Frankie is standing by with Swizzy Pixie right now.
Thank you so much. Swizzy, you were just saying to me, you don't feel like it's going amazingly, but you're 4th on the leaderboard.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're doing incredibly well, but you feel like you're just getting warmed up.
I mean, we could we're getting the best loot, so I'm not really think we're doing good. I think we can do better. Yeah.
And is 4 games enough to do that? If you think of those 4 games like a day 2, like back in Major 1?
Yeah.
Because we saw what you did in Major 1, right? You remember?
Of course I remember, yeah.
You flew up the leaderboard, you hit W and you went up, because right now we're not seeing that many eliminations from you. And Pixie, you're an elimination king. So is that the plan for the last 4 games?
Maybe we will do our best. Yeah, we're gonna look over some of our mistakes that we didn't get kills, and then...
Well, you are uncontested though, Pixie. Do you think that's almost an issue for you?
I mean, I think it's fine both ways.
So where are you going to get those eliminations from? Who are you hunting down, boys?
Just on anyone who we can.
You're just going to go for a stroll through the map, Pixie, and just anyone you find, they're out of the lobby.
Yeah.
Yes! I love to hear it. 4 more games to go. As I said, boys, it's day 2. Let's head back to the desk.
Look, I believe, right, Swizzy and Pixie, you know what I'm saying? Again, we've already discussed the length. It only takes 1 really good game. Now, something, you know what, I'm going to say Levin. I'm going to steal it from Levin.
All right.
Swizzy and Pixie, they tend to heat up better on the second day. We don't really have second day, and obviously contextually, quite a bit of pressure on the duo. But we do have the 4 games. So what do we need from them to go ahead and bounce back?
More of the same, really. I mean, we saw it from Pixie, from Swizzy in that interview right there. He was like, yeah, we're getting really good loot. We're in a good position on the leaderboard. He was like, yep, we're in 4th. But there's still got so much to give. There's still so much left in the tank, it feels like, with this duo. And that's been the way that the narrative has been for them throughout this entire season. They're so good. They have so much skill. They have so much on paper capabilities. But when it comes down to in the game, they're just falling short slightly. Luckily for them, because they're so good, falling short is still in that top 15.
Yeah, exactly. Because if you do get top 15, you qualify yourself to the global championships. You heard when Swizzy was talking, he said, you know, we're not doing good enough because, you know, a player like Swizzy, a player like Pixie, they want to get first place. They want to win this Summit LAN, but it's not just the $250,000 you get for first place. Not only that beautiful trophy with a crown you can detach and put on, it's also that golden ticket to the global championship if you get top 15 on that leaderboard.
Yeah, I almost wonder how many duos, you know, because again, I think another layer we maybe don't talk about a lot is the experience, right? Being able to show up in this environment and get a taste of globals, right? The pressure at globals is going to be double, triple as intense, right? So kind of being able to come in and just say, like, we may not even need to strike for first. Let's just make sure we secure a spot and continue to earn the experience. When we show up there, it won't be as hot under these lights.
Yeah, it's like getting that experience, getting those reps in earlier on in the season, earlier on in the year. It's like this is something that they're not necessarily used to. And for Swizzy and Pixie in particular, they sort of go against the grain, if you like, with how EU went this entire major. It was sort of like a lot of the newcomer players coming on through, whereas these guys are sort of just veteran players that have been at that top level, combining up and performing well here on LAN. So if they can qualify through into that top 15, expecting big things from the globals as well.
That's what I love so much about this Major 1 Summit LAN. I mean, we're at the start of the year. We're just getting started. We finished Major 1. We still have a whole year of Fortnite competitive ahead of us. Global championships at the end of the year. Even a solo competition hidden in there. So it is going to be a lot of fun.
I don't know nothing about that. Don't ask me. But what I do know is we asked the players about GC and what they have to look forward to. Check this out.
Everyone wants to qualify for the Global. It's the Fortnite event of the years, like every time.
It's very important to get top 15 because you secure your LAN spot for the end of the year.
Be perfect. Already having the spot secured takes a little bit of pressure off from Major 2 and Major 3.
Performing well is gonna change everything. You'll have an easier way of being uncontested, so it's like a snowball effect throughout the whole year.
I like the APM format. It gives people less of a chance to review in between the tournament.
Even if you're 30th place, you drop like a 10 elimination win. I mean, it's so good because anyone could qual. It's really just play your game and see who ends on top.
The biggest goal is still top 15, I'm not gonna lie. At the end of the day, that's what we're playing for, all of us. Just you do it or you don't.
I know we'll easily qualify for the GC. I think it's not gonna be that hard for us.
Try and stroke to be one of those first teams for multiple wins here. Bahari and Cammy, they have 4 eliminations.
I think some teams might hide strats in upper bracket or lower bracket to save them for the finals.
In 6 games, you don't have that time to adapt, but for 8, so many things can change.
I'm underestimated as a Middle East pro, so this LAN for me is very important. Hope I can show everyone medal.
The global spot is so important. It could change the whole year. The atmosphere here, there's so much hype.
It's all I've dreamed of, to win Grands, win Globals.
I'm 100% sure we're qualifying for the Global Championship.
It's like once in a lifetime thing. We're the best duo by far.
I'm confident to go to finals.
I'm very good.